there's so many layers to being Black and gifted. I don't really feel like I was able to unpack them all in that podcast. I think the biggest thing I would say is you don't really get the right to be gifted. I think that you more so have to be like mentally ill. I think that that's one facet of it. And then I think the other facet of it is the world. There's this pressure to share your gift. There's this pressure to give it away, right? There's this pressure to just be down and just be this person who is just like all creating, all knowing, continuously consistent, always at a, continuous energy, right? And I think that this is why we have like athletes, right? Entertainers, people who are addicted to certain substances, right? Tristan Thompson, out on suspension for using, performance enhancing steroids, right? It's continuous, and so I think that that's the thing that kind of sucks about having a talent and being actually good at something. It's like America will literally bleed you dry. And we can kind of trace this back from celebrities, right? Entertainers and so forth. And so I think the most challenging thing, and again, this is going to be like a short pod to kind of follow up and provide a little bit more context about being Black and gifted, is one, you don't have the opportunity to be gifted, right? You can be mentally ill, you can be kind of smart, but you can't be gifted, right? And then the other thing is like, you're constantly in this space where it's like, and this is for all gifted people really, but like, it's like, do I give my gift away? And do I allow people to use the gift, right? Do I allow this light to shine? And, everybody take a hold of that and everybody enjoy that, right? And then when they're done, like they're going to berate me. They're going to, you know what I mean? I'm going to be chewed in and spit out, right? Or do I live below the radar? Do I, potentially live below my means and never really rise to the occasion and actually manifest and self-actualize on my potential, And so when you're in that space, when you're young, you're Black, you're gifted, you don't have managers, you don't have family members that you can trust, you're really susceptible, because as you grow and as you, transcend your gift and you get better at it, and there's recognition and there are certain opportunities and managerial companies and all these different things, people want to work with you, right? Agencies, the less and less people start to look like you. And then you're dealing with a different type of thing here, right? You start talking about legality, you start talking about logistics, you start talking about operations, and it's all you, right? Like you're the vessel. And so I made a podcast episode where I was talking about like giving your gifts to God, because it's like the world is just going to use you. And I think that this is the thing that, a lot of influencers and people should really look at and think about, like gifted people as well. Do you really want that? And, I had a guy friend of mine who was gifted as well. And I think that we both always kind of question, like, what would that look like? I think for me, more so than him, I was always like, do I give my gift to the world? Do I really want to share my gift with people? Do I really want this fame, that could possibly come from me sharing my gift and actually showing how good I am at something? And I was always kind of shying away from that, because I just felt like, one, I just was young. I didn't really feel like I was ready. I might have been riddled with a little bit of conspiracy. But I also just think too, as I get older, you just realize like how, your gift is your gift, and it's your choice what to do with your gift, and I think if people can come and enjoy your gift and how you show up, that's great. But I just think that there's something about capitalism and the commercialization of your gift that bleeds you dry, that makes you feel as though that you were literally cursed. And so I think to be young, Black, and gifted, there's always kind of like you don't really know, like you're always walking that line. Like I said, there's like a target on your back, one, because, you are gifted, you know what I mean? But then you're Black, so it's like, oh, you're like a unicorn, you know what I mean? And people want a piece of that. And you also can't admit that you're gifted. A lot of times your giftedness is also something that is undetected, right? For Black kids, that's something that is understudied. Every book that I've, researched, right, talks about white kids and giftedness, right? It talks about white kids being genius, right? The front cover is of a white child, even an Asian child, but not a Black child. So, you're constantly questioning, is this capable? Am I, you know what I mean? And then you have people who also play on that, right? You start talking about collaboration. People will play on the fact that that you kind of have these insecurities about being gifted, and that you don't really exist in that space, right? So there's kind of like people around you who are challenging you, but not because of and this always makes me think about Basquiat, right? Because it's like, when you think about you think about his life, right? His artistic ability. A lot of people look at his life, right? And they take the art, they take the good, but they don't really hear him, right? And that's kind of what it becomes. You kind of become just the vessel for the art that people enjoy, that, you know, but then it's like when it comes to your life, it really doesn't have any meaning, right? It doesn't really have any value. And that's what it's like being young, Black, and gifted in American society. You know, it's like they want you, right? They want to capitalize off of your gift, right? The vessel, right? The creation, but they don't want you. They want to bleed the vessel. And it's kind of like colonizers in everything that they cease, right? It's like, we're going to bleed it dry of its resources. And when it's all out of resources, then we're done with it, you know, and we don't care. You know what I mean? Bring the next one, right? And that's the thing. And it sounds kind of like dark, but that's the truth though. You know what I mean? Like, that's the truth, especially when you couple that with like being Black, because that's really what it gives. And so it's like, do I give this gift because life is short, right? Do I give this gift because I deserve to be recognized and compensated? Or do I just fly under the radar? Do I just enjoy my life, you know, with all of this beauty that, you know what I mean, that I get to experience and witness on the day to day, you know, but I'm possibly, you know, compromising, you know, recognition that I deserve, right? Compensation that I deserve, you know? And so there's always kind of like a question there. It's like, do I share the light or do I keep it to myself?